Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Caffeine and Sensu Beans podcast. I'm joined by the boy Chiween. How you doing, man?
What's up, yo? I'm doing pretty good. I'm been having a tough time sleeping though. I it's been rough, Like today was a rough day in
Uh-oh.
regards to energy. But right now, this is my zone. This is my element. This is my
Yeah.
time.
We're
This is
recording
when I
later
feel
in
the
the
most
day.
alive. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're recording later in the day. And normally we record in the morning. And Chiween is not exactly an early bird. So it takes him a little
Yeah.
bit to get like to ramp up. Uh
Well, you'd think that I would be considering the fact that my job starts at in the morning, but still haven't turned that around.
yeah. I mean, some people they're just naturally I don't know. I feel like some people are naturally morning people and others are not, but then it could just be habit. I don't know. But I know like when I was younger, I'm a morning person because I mean, ever since I've been young, like my mom would wake me up at like 5:30 to go get the bus
There
and I
you
was
go.
like, this is sick. And cuz she would get in at like 6:30 or 7, I don't remember. So yeah, well, hopefully tonight you get some better sleep. Um,
I hope so too.
is it just a little sleep insomnia, or have you had some things on your mind?
Yeah, I've had a couple of things on my mind, but I think it's just been hard. We're not at our house right now. We're at
Hmm.
my wife's parents' house, so it's just different, from your home. I think that
For
also is
sure,
playing a
for
role in
sure.
there too. How are you?
Uh, I mean, it's been a crazy week, and it's been a not crazy week. All right. Um,
There you go.
One, because work has been, pretty steady Eddie, like nothing crazy, just kind of doing what I have to do. But then like FIFA getting destroyed, dude. I'm getting destroyed, bro.
I hear there's a patch because I've been away from the house. I am only hearing through the grapevine that there are all these different things that are happening.
Well, yeah. Yes, dude. There's a patch. I don't exactly know what it is. I went from Division 2 to Division 4 like a scum, like in a free fall, dude. Devastating free fall. Uh, and, but it's okay. We're gonna get back on the horse and climb our way up. This guy got that new Cristiano, and then like the team doesn't really mix, and I started throwing scrubs on to like get the chemistry like between some
Yeah.
weird players like they really don't have chemistry.
Uh-huh.
um so but we'll get it to work, and then the markets, dude. I got cucked today. They really railed me. um
Hmm.
it was just bleeding, and your boy, I was just like, because I always have one monitor on and I'm just looking at my accounts. Like it just kept going down. I mean, overall, I'm up, which is good, but just I track like daily activity, and today it just was one of those days, dude. It
Just
was
went
just
down.
it was just bleeding. Yeah, and I was like, what can I do to stop the bleeding? I gotta hedge this somehow, and I was gonna go into full day trader mode. But then I'm like, nah, I
Lord.
can't do that, dude. Because I don't know what I'm doing and I'm gonna fuck something up. So I was just like, whatever, I'll take the L today.
Just patience, man. That's what this whole thing's about. Just it'll
Yeah,
it'll it'll grow with the patience,
yeah, it grows over time, but it's just like every time you see like the losses, you're just like, you want to do something to stop it. When you think, okay, I should sell my positions, but then everyone's thinking that, and if you do that, well then like eventually the stock's going to keep going down even more. So you just got to hold it. You just got to be able to sometimes just hold the line.
Yeah, one of my favorite TV shows, and I don't know if folks ever I mean, I'm sure. I mean, this is probably my favorite TV show of all time, which is The King of Queens. They have a they have an episode about that where like they buy like a stock share in something, and like for the first like 3-4 days, like they're hella hyped because they're making hella money, and then
Right.
like by the fifth day it starts going down, sixth day it
Uh-huh.
starts going down, then like by the seventh day they're like the dude is just panicking. He's just like, we gotta
Right.
sell. It's just
Exactly.
it's funny though because it's just like, it's one of those things where, I mean, they don't teach us a lot about it, right? So it's like you don't really know much about it, and it is that piece of like you wanting to just you want to win. You
Right,
know what
for
I'm saying?
sure. And
You know?
the thing is like I'm not exactly invested in like short-term gains where like you know folks that do day trading or like Wall Street traders, they are, they're looking for like every little trade's got to make them some type of money. Uh and cuz there's like different types of stocks you could invest in. So like, if you invest in Apple, well, it's a steady kind of steady ship, it's not really going to experience huge swings either way. So like you're not really going to make a bunch of money in one day, and conversely you're not going to really lose a bunch of money in one day because of Apple. But then there are other stocks like that they don't have that stability, and they'll provide those type of crazy swings, and it's like I'm not even invested in any of those stocks, but I'm still trying to trade like I am. And and I'm just like, yeah, whatever, dude. I just got to close the account, let whatever happens, and yeah, just let it grow over time.
I hear you.
uh, all right, well, let's get to it, dude. You know what movie we watched The Dead Zone.
Yep. This
And
is the first Dragon Ball Z movie. I feel like I always bring that up. Like I'm like, oh, this is like the fifth movie. It's like I feel like I've been wrong every single time. But I know for
I
sure that this is
this
the
is the
first one.
first one.
This
Yeah,
is the
dude.
first one. I know for
It
sure this is the
definitely
first
looked
one.
like the first one, I'll tell you that.
It felt like the first one.
Yeah, it did feel like the first one. I mean, they really were. I mean, I get it. The budget was tight because I realized like Kami, Piccolo, and Vegeta are all and Yamcha. They're all voiced by Chris Sabbath.
Oh
Um,
yeah, no, I
so
got to experience that firsthand
well,
in
that's
the
what I was gonna
commentary.
say, dude. I don't know how that even happened. So yeah, basically, I shared the movie with you, and for whatever reason, Chris Sabbath decided to do a play-by-play on that version of the movie.
Yeah.
And like, so you can't hear any dialogue of like the actual main characters. You just hear Vegeta's voice, like just narrating
He
every
doesn't even
movie.
sound like Vegeta. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, he doesn't even sound like the person, like the characters that he's doing. But yeah,
I
I
know.
tried to get through that, and then I'm like, okay, I can't hear nothing about what the hell is happening in the film. So I'm like, okay, let me find another way. But in regards to, wait, did you ask me what one word already?
Nah, not yet, dude. Because I was gonna say we were talking about like how vintage that movie looked.
Uh-huh.
Which yeah, I guess whatever. That's the word I was gonna use.
Oh,
Um,
vintage.
yeah.
Okay.
um, shoot. So I was watching this movie and I'm just like it hit me. I'm like, yeah. Of course I know Dragon Ball started in 1984 and this movie I know is a 1989 or at least in 89. And but it hit me because we just watched literally the latest movie not too long ago.
Yeah.
And so the
We
contrast
saw the
is
oldest one and we saw the most recent one.
right in the span of like a few days or a week. Um, so the contrast is quite stark, and it just reminded me like, dude, anime goes back so long. So it's funny. There's this anime in Japan that like everyone grows up watching. It's like a rite of passage. Like you're a Japanese baby, you're gonna watch this no matter what, and it's just been
Uh-huh.
like that forever. Like it's a little, but dude, that thing's been going on. It's called Doraemon.
Uh-huh.
Dude, that thing is ridiculous. Like the amount of episodes it has. Like
Uh-huh.
like it's still they're still releasing new episodes to this day, and it released in 1970. Thing
Mhm.
has like 5,000 episodes. It's wild, man. It's insane. And I was kind of thinking about that as I was watching this. It's just like, geez, anime goes back. It goes back a long time. Um, but yeah, dude, what's
Yeah, it
the
does.
one word? What do you got for me?
I would say I'm gonna say flat.
Flat. It didn't move you, huh? It didn't pass the vibe check. I can tell.
Nah, nah. It was flat.
Go on. Expand a little.
Okay, I don't know if you can hear me or not. Internet's good here. So the the I thought it was a I thought it was kind of boring, dude. You know, not gonna lie, I thought it was a pretty flat movie. I didn't feel like it really hit many of the things that I like in the movies, and it just like Garlic Jr. kind of fell flat for me. I thought
Right.
the he kind it was kind of like not as I mean I don't know that I would even it's one of those like Fusion 13 like
Type of
vibes
movies. Right.
where it's like the plot is very like distant in there, you know? Like
Mm-hmm.
you got to squint really hard.
Right. Like definitely. I agree with you. I mean, I wasn't like really feeling the movie as I mean, it's not that I wasn't yeah, I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't like, "Oh, this is tight." I was just kind of watching it and ready for it to end. Uh
That yeah, for real.
right.
Yeah, it's kind of what it felt like.
I was like, "All right, let's get to the end here." Yeah, like there were some okay parts like Kami. I think it's cool that Kami got some screen time that he was able
Yeah.
to do some things. And it's kind of cool seeing like Goku uses his what, bow staff or power pole. They call it the power pole. Um, but then yeah, other than that, dude, I was just like, I, I, uh, I wasn't, I don't know, I wasn't intrigued. Like it didn't captivate me. You know, there are movies that we watch that I don't think are necessarily great, but at the very least, I'm intrigued. I'm kind of like, wow, this ain't that good, but I'm watching. There's a character, at least one character that's redeemable. Um, you know, and yeah, I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, I mean, just from the jump, dog. Like, just from the jump, dude. Like, the movie starts with like a confusing ass scene where
Right.
like the three dudes attack Piccolo, and it looks like they killed him. Like, to me, I thought he wasn't going to be in the film, and then I got
Right.
confused because I'm like, well, why'd they cut to Kami? I'm like, what? How's he feeling it? I
Hmm.
I was confused as to what that was even for.
It's right. I think it was to give you a sense of like, um, because I get if Piccolo experiences pain, then Kami feels it also.
Hmm.
Uh, and Kami back in the day danced with Garlic Jr.'s dad, and so it was a way of having Kami come in the scene and say, "Oh, I feel garlic. I feel, I've felt this before. I feel like someone's on his way." Um, and
Oh, okay.
and initially I thought like, "Oh, those three dudes, they look menacing, right? Ginger, Nikki, I think that was his name, and I forget the other dude. It was another. It was like a
Sancho.
okay. Uh, I thought like, oh, okay, they look kind of, a little different. They were, they had like they were covered up. They had like a hood or and uh, they looked like okay, these dudes might be the real deal. And
Yeah, they
as the
look like the dude from Wrath of Dragons, like the get set up, like the get up, but like
yeah,
the hoodie, with
exactly,
like the
Hoy,
hooded, like
that boy
yeah,
Hoy.
yeah, boy, hoy.
Yeah. Um, and as time went on, they became less menacing to the point where like they were just I was like, "Oh, okay, they're meant to be kinda satirical." They're not very because they had some cool traits, like, I like how, who was it that took both I think 2 of them took swords out of themselves, right? Like
Yeah, I don't know who it was. Yeah, but it was. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. That they like pretty much like morph the swords out of their bodies, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But other I mean, other than that, it was just like, um, I
Trash.
don't know, I wasn't feeling it, I wasn't really they weren't really my cup of tea. It's not like I thought the movie was horrible trash. I feel like the movie wasn't very adventurous. That's just me. Like it didn't, but at the same time, like this is the first movie ever. Um, so they kind of they they stuck to a formula that I feel was kind of safe. Like
Well, at this
um,
point, though, I mean, they already had three movies under their belt, which I think those three movies, from what I've read, and I don't know, people seem to really like the Dragon Ball specific movies, like just Dragon Ball when
mhm,
Goku's a little kid. And apparently those are really good. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But
mhm.
so they had something there. It just kind of baffles me just some of the shortcuts that they did in this film. Well,
Like
one,
which
it's
ones?
shorter than all the other films.
Hell yeah,
Um,
way shorter, dude. I think even they realized like halfway through they were just like, yeah, this ain't it, Chief. We don't got anything here. And they're just like, all right, let's just get through this shit
yeah,
as
let's just
quickly
wrap
as
it up. Yeah,
yeah,
let's wrap it up. Because
exactly.
they do so many like little shortcuts that I don't understand like what was the reasoning behind it. And and maybe because I did get to this part, your boy Chris Sabbath is the one that directed this apparently.
Oh
Like
shit,
or
really?
something. He had some sort of like piece in there. So I mean, to me, I mean, I don't know. I don't know who the hell he is to that extent, but I just know that it was just there was just some pieces that just didn't make a whole lot of sense. Like
Well, he
I
took an
did like Chi
L.
Chi, standing up for herself. Though. I did like that. I did like that little interaction. I thought, like you said, I liked the way that the three dudes were introduced. I actually thought that was
Hmm.
kind of cool. And when they showed
Right,
up to their house, I thought that was also kind of cool too. Because you didn't really know what the hell was about to happen. And I'm like, okay, you've intrigued me.
right.
But the first fall of the film, in my opinion, is they want Gohan's Dragon Ball, but why did they take Gohan? They could have just taken his hat.
For reals, dude. I think, and you know what's funny is like I think, uh, I mean, I don't know who it was that directed it. If it was Chris Sabbath, or maybe he produced it, but if he did direct it, maybe like 30 minutes in, they realized like, damn, we really didn't have to take Gohan, and because Garlic Jr. says at one point, towards the end of the movie, he kind of says to Gohan like, "Oh, that he wants Gohan to join him because he's strong, right? Like, or he knows Gohan has some latent power that's dormant." Uh, and I think that was them trying to like trying to get out of the hole they were in. Because
Yeah, of like why this kid was brought even up there.
right, like we didn't really need to kidnap him. Uh, we could have just literally stolen the hat, you know.
Yep.
Uh,
And
and
do they
that's
have like a radar for the Dragon Balls, or how do they find the Dragon Balls? They never really addressed that.
yeah,
Because
they don't.
do they have like a sense of
How the
it,
hell do
or
they have all the other ones, right? Like, because I mean, they're scattered all over the world. So I'm thinking like these dudes, they just got really lucky throughout their navigation. And they happened to come across a bunch of all the Dragon Balls.
Mhm.
And you know what else? Like when they kidnap Gohan, okay? Uh, and dude, wait, before I get to that, like, how did Chi Chi's dad get taken out? I mean, I
Yeah.
literally, like, dude, I he just falls over, and I'm like, oh, we're not gonna show how this man. This is embarrassing. This man's taking an L right in front of his daughter and his grandchild. He's taking a terrible L, and that was, I think, the last time the writers are like, all right, wherever. That's the last time we're giving this guy a
Screen time.
significant screen time.
Yeah.
Um, but what I was gonna say is, uh, when I thought Dead Zone, I thought like, damn, this is another dimension. Like it's another outside of the real world, or the world that Goku and company live in. And it did seem like that when they're actually fighting there, but then when Goku's at Master Roshi's house and they're meeting, and Bulma's like, "Oh, they're south of here." I'm like, "What? That they're on they're on planet Earth? It's just you just got to fly down south?" And sure enough, Goku flies down south, and then okay, he sees Shenron get summoned. But to me, I thought it was gonna be like Kami was gonna have to teleport them to another dimension. Because Kami, he fought Garlic Jr.'s dad, and he took care of his dad. And I thought like, shit, Kami's gonna have to do something here, like, or to teleport them to get there. Um, but nah, he just was like, all right, I know where to go, and flew down south.
Hmm.
Uh, ah,
Yeah, it's you know, it, I don't like I said, man. It just feels like they maybe were like halfway done, right? And they're just like, okay, we got to figure this shit out because we don't know what the fuck we're doing now. Because like the shit with Gohan when he like ate the apple, like what the fuck was that?
oh, he got
Like,
drunk.
yeah, you got drunk, and like, I mean, it goes to show the times, right? Like, it's like it's a while back, and it's like, okay, we're gonna have a kid drunk, but like,
All right.
I didn't really feel like it added anything. And the thing that got really like baffled me was like Garlic Jr. is watching him be drunk, and he's just like, that kid has something special.
Right.
and, I'm
That's
like,
what
and, I'm, and I'm like, what?
that's what
What?
gave it away.
That's what gave it away. I just give this kid drunk, and then that's when he shows the true potential of his
I didn't even
power.
think of that, dude. Classic
I
Garlic
started
Jr.
laughing. I'm like, dog, what?
Dude, were you feeling Garlic Jr.? Like, what was, I know
No, not at all.
we t-
I thought he was well, one, I mean, look, dude, another knock here is look, I think I might be going down the Fusion 13 trail here because another knock that I have with this is that like again, the wish of immortality is
all
just
right,
ridiculous. And
right.
and sure, it's in the beginning of Dragon Ball, so I can't really fault them for that, but like the like he just didn't have like he just was not interesting to me. Like
He Yeah, I
he
agree.
and then he's the one that created the thing to kill himself.
Dude. Oh my god.
Well, and not even kill himself. Now he's just like floating around in space.
Like, we're just gonna ignore that at this
He's
point?
just he right now is floating in space as we as we speak.
He's
Well,
literally
wherever the hell the dead zone is.
right. He's literally immortal, just floating endlessly. That's that man has been floating for over 30, God knows how many years. Um, it's funny, like it's when I mean, now that you say that, when they open up that portal at the end, and like they're all getting sucked up, and then Gohan like powers up or whatever. And
Yeah.
then maybe I missed this, but as soon as Garlic Jr. gets sucked up, after Gohan powers up and blasts him in, the portal closes. And I'm like, wait, why'd it close? Just because Garlic Jr. went in? Like,
Yeah.
that type of portal looked like the type of portal that wasn't closing.
Well,
I've
then it
seen a
made it
lot of
look like it was glass.
Yeah.
You know, it like broke out into different shards. And I'm like, what is happening here?
But yeah, and that too. But I was just like, dude, they never explained how it was gonna close. And it was just like, oh, okay, the bad guy's gone, close it. But that thing looked
Can
like
we
it
talk about how ridiculous that scene was, though? Like,
Gohan
can we
powering up.
talk? Yeah, duh, like
Yeah.
I put it on my notes. They were yelling at each other for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That's all you saw on the screen. Just ah.
Yeah, dude. I think, because I'm telling you, at that point they were just like, all right, they mailed it in, dude. They were just like, we gotta get through this. Zero, we're just not gonna really put much thought into it. And it was just typical, scream at each other and get stronger.
Yeah, dude. It was just yeah, it was a lot of yelling, dude. And I'm like, what is happening right now in this final scene of this film?
And
Like they were just growling and yelling at each other.
right.
And
And Gohan getting stronger, like, or that pushed Garlic Jr. Like it blew him away and it blew him into that next other dimension, the dead
mhm,
zone, I guess.
mhm,
Um, but Piccolo and that Piccolo and Goku, they like they couldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like they so this dude could take on Piccolo and Goku. Gohan could take on Piccolo and Goku in his like, at his strongest, it seems like. And I mean, I think I I I wonder if this was some type of introduction to Gohan's power because this is before they fight Raditz. So I don't know if they were like trying to introduce Gohan and like, oh, hey, look, we got this, we got a prodigy here. Um,
mhm.
and it was their way of kind of setting the table. Um, but I don't know, sometimes like no, not sometimes, but you just need a good dance partner. And Garlic Jr. in this case, like he just was not it, dude. And they tried to make him like funny and multi-dimensional, not so stoic like Cooler was. Uh they tried to make him more like intriguing, and I
Mhm.
just was not like I was like, this ain't hitting.
No, it's not. It's just you know what it is that he comes off as a child, and at least to me, in my opinion, he comes off as a child, and like it's just not. It just comes from a really young and childish place, like of what he wants to do in regards to trying to like rule over the world. Because I'm
Right.
still unclear as to what he wants to do with the world. Like, does he just want to destroy everything so that he could just be by himself? Or does
Right.
he want to
Like
just rule it? Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just kind of unclear to me as to what he wants to do. Like, because it sounds to me like he only wants to do this to Earth.
yeah, I mean, at first I thought he was trying to avenge his father.
That
Um,
would have been a way deeper story.
right, for sure. Like I could have gotten behind that a lot more. Um, but yeah, I don't know, dude. It was like he wanted to be immortal, and then he started dancing on everyone in his little form, and then Goku and Piccolo, in true Dragon Ball fashion, like he gets stronger, like he just gets huge, and
Yeah.
uh, it's like he he felt like I didn't feel a rage behind his his transformation. And I mean, it doesn't help that we just saw the Broly movie not too long ago, but
Hmm.
like with Broly, I felt that, and we talked about how they did a good job in that movie of explaining how Broly progressively gets stronger because
Yeah.
he's learning the like he's analyzing and studying his opponent, and he's catching on. Where in this one it was just like, all right, hit the button, and Garlic Jr. hit that button and he got activated.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. I didn't even know he had another form. And then he just busted it out.
Right. It's
Um,
like, well, just walk around in that, dude, because you do not look intimidating.
yeah. Yeah. Just walk around in that.
'Cause I mean, he didn't say like, "Oh, this drains my power." He just turned into that, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but how did you feel? I mean, I know we always do like the old Piccolo segment,
Of
uh,
course.
and this is obviously uh, Piccolo, not origins, but certainly the beginning of his path. Um, but I felt that there were small nuggets of the writers telling us what Piccolo was going to become in the future. And
Oh,
I'll get
okay.
into that in a bit, but I wanted to hear what you thought about the boy Pick.
About Piccolo. Well, like I told you, I thought from the beginning, I thought he died. I thought he was
Right.
non-existent in the film. So to my surprise, he comes in, which is another thing too, is that Garlic Jr. is just a light blue version of Piccolo. They
Right.
love just recycling
And his head was
characters.
gigantic though.
He
Like I
was.
don't know if you paid attention to it, but they made that thing
Is
extraordinarily
he
big.
Namekian?
Nah, he's not, dude. He's something else. I forget.
Oh, he's something else. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's fun.
Uh,
But
uh
yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So in regards to Piccolo, I mean, look, we've been saying this since we saw what was it, Lord Slug or something
Yeah,
like that.
large slug.
Yeah, something
Cooler,
like
the
that.
cooler movies.
Yeah, yeah. So this is so look, this is Piccolo at his finest. Like this is Piccolo at the top of his game. When he has a spot on the roster, he goes out there. You could depend on him. He's your second star. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm,
he's the second superstar. So you put him in, and you're about to get a big show. So he did his role. I personally didn't like his appearance as much as I thought I was, because I
mm-hmm.
thought because this is so early on that I'm like, okay, this is the Piccolo that got notorious and was he was that guy.
Yeah,
People
for
were
sure. We
afraid
saw
to.
Dragon Ball Evolution,
Yeah,
even though that was
he
his
was that
dad.
guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So he was that guy, and but it kind of fell flat for me, his performance of
for sure.
what he did, and kind of the role he played. I didn't really see a whole lot out of him in this one.
Exactly. And I gotta push back a little bit. Like, yeah, I agree that for sure Piccolo's they clearly make they clearly make him a solid contributor. But I told you like a little, before or a few minutes back that I was like, they showed us glimpses of what this man was gonna become. There's a scene where Piccolo's been powering up, right? And Garlic Jr., he's getting stronger. Sorry, my dog's barking. Uh there's a scene in the back, like, or there's a scene where Garlic Jr. is like getting stronger, whatever. He's in this huge buff form. And Piccolo's like powering up. They're holding on to like the side of I don't know what it was, but whatever. Point is, like they're holding on, and then you hear Piccolo like come out of nowhere, and he's like, "Garlic, take this!" And then he like blasts him with everything he's got, dude. And it
Uh-huh.
and Garlic Jr. like literally doesn't even realize he gets hit. He continues talking to Goku, right? and and like that's when I was like, oh, they knew that this man was gonna become a sideline, a bench character. Like, he was not gonna be part of the starting five for a long time.
Yeah.
And they yeah, dude. I mean, I didn't feel like, damn, Piccolo's that menace, right? Because that's what they. I feel like, okay, Piccolo in this one, I wanted to see him be kind of evil, dude. Like, because he's still
Yeah.
at this point, he hates Goku, and he
Hmm.
hates the he hates Goku really, but and so he's still in a lot of ways the antagonist and the main antagonist really. And so I thought like we would see a more ruthless Piccolo, but it looked like just regular old Piccolo that I've seen in other movies. That's very serious, and he's like no no BS type of guy. Um but and so I felt like he was just okay, and I felt like there were flashes of him um just dropping the ball, Like, I think that was a big shot to his ego, dude. All right. It's one thing when you give it everything you got and you don't take the dude out. It's another when you give it everything you got and the guy doesn't notice that you actually hit him. And I
He doesn't
think,
even acknowledge it.
right, dude. And I think that's when Piccolo knew, all right, dude, that I got a ceiling. And clearly that ceiling is far lower than Goku's and Gohan's. you know.
Yeah, I might be better being on Goku's team.
Yeah,
I think that's what he
yeah,
realized in that
yeah,
moment. Like,
exactly, dude. I think
yeah,
that's
I
when
think
he
it might be
realized.
good. It might be a good idea to cross over.
Right,
Like it's not working out over here.
right, dude.
I
I
didn't even
think.
I forgot I completely missed that scene. I didn't even realize it's
Well,
probably
go
when they're
back.
getting sucked out and they're on like on a
It's
pillar or something like
Yeah,
that. Probably.
exactly. They're holding on to a pillar. It's almost at
Yeah,
that point. It's
yeah.
there.
Towards the end of the film.
And so yeah, I think that was when Piccolo realized, like, yeah, maybe I should join the other side because this ain't looking too good.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean it's unfortunate, man. But
it
you know,
is.
like I said though, I do like I actually do like what you said though about wanted to see him be a little bit evil. I think they could have played up a little bit on that because at this point, yeah, we don't actually don't know Piccolo's intentions. You know, he's not
Mhm.
he for the first time in a while, he doesn't come in to save Gohan. You know,
Right,
when
dude.
he's a kid. So like, you know, he's kind of on the sidelines, and he even comes in with that intention, right? Of like, I'm not here to help you. I almost felt like this is also a foreshadowing of what like a Vegeta character was gonna be. You know, of like coming in and being like, I'm not here to help you, you know, blah blah
Right.
blah. I'm still gonna fight you
Exactly.
afterwards and blah blah
Right.
blah. And it's like,
Because
okay,
that's the thing
Piccolo.
Vegeta plays on, like, the entire series.
Yeah, so Piccolo I think was kind of playing that role because I don't think they had developed Vegeta at this point to be involved in this scenario. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think they were maybe playing with that idea because that's kind of what it comes off to me. Because even in the way that Piccolo fights, it reminds me a little bit of Vegeta because they're a little bit ruthless. I mean, I actually like the fighting in this film, and there was actually when Piccolo handled that one dude when he separated him from the other two.
Right.
The way he kills that dude is I thought it was pretty tight. I thought it looked pretty tight, but it really reminded me a lot of Vegeta.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Right.
Yeah, and the three dudes, I thought their fighting was interesting. The way that they fought, even though they didn't really look cool and their charisma kind of dwindled. I
For
thought they had a
sure.
strong entrance, but like it kind of dwindled when they actually fought. But I thought they were pretty cool in the way that they fought. They really reminded me of the trio, the Danger from Super. You know the dogs.
From Oh,
Like when they're in the
yeah,
tournament and
that's right.
they're
Yeah,
fighting
yeah, yeah,
the dudes
yeah.
that just kind of their fight like in a circle, like they just move hella fast and they're like in a triangle type of deal. So
Yeah,
that's kind of what it
exactly.
reminded me of like I wonder if the dogs are like a callback to these three. Because that's the way they kind of reminded me of, like just like a little goofy but still they kind of just are relying on their speed type of deal, and they kind of work better if they're in a unit and not as opposed to just one.
Right, right, right. Yeah, I didn't even think of that, and I never even made that connection. Um, yeah, I thought we always kind of talk about the henchmen, right? The side men, the characters, the side characters, and the
Mm-hmm.
squad of the villain. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I mean they were cool, like they were charming to a degree. And like you said, I also thought their entrance was pretty cool. And um, but yeah, it was just downhill from there. I liked, obviously, you alluded to the fighting, and I liked how they were able to take out their weapons. Um, as far as the fighting goes, it was good in some spots, and I thought horrible in others. Like, it was cool when Goku took out the power pole and he started dancing with the Ginger. I think it was Ginger and Nikki. I hope I'm not saying that wrong. Um, and then he's dancing with them, and then he extended the power pole. Boom! And he launches a dude back, and he keeps it
Mm-hmm.
there, right? Like while he's fighting the other dude. I thought that was like really interesting because they never really use weapons, right? At least in the current Dragon Ball. Sure, Trunks will use a sword, but that's about the extent that it goes
Yeah,
to.
but his sword like breaks like mid fight
Right,
every
exactly.
time.
Like it's either too strong or it's not strong at all because it decimates what is it, Zamasu, fused Zamasu or corrupted Zamasu, and
Yeah,
or like it'll just get shattered.
against
Uh
Android 14 or 15.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I wish they would bring back the power pole though. I wish they would do something with that. I think that's kind of a little um unique thing that Goku had that yes, he's a Saiyan, but it differentiates him a little bit from the conventional Saiyan. Um, in the sense that he has a weapon, you know, and it's a small callback to his grandpa, right? Like, and I think there's something there that's, you know, it's not a make or break type of deal, but I just think it would be cool. But then when I thought the fighting was just not it was when Goku and Piccolo were fighting Garlic Jr. Dude, so they're getting destroyed, and then they're like, okay, now we're gonna do it. And whatever for whatever reason, this time they're really gonna affect Garlic Jr. Like they're really about to mess him up. And they
Mhm.
start like pushing him back, you know? Like, and I'm like, dude, what? How how's that happening? This man's been decimating you guys. You can't move him. There were scenes where both of them were punching him and their punches weren't doing anything.
Mhm.
And now they're just gonna push him off the edge, like off the ledge. And I was just like, yeah, see, this is it. This is where they started the I mean, at that point the wheels were coming off the bus, dude. They were going full
Well, the
speed.
wheels are already coming off the bus, dog. Like
Yeah,
that's just the cherry on the top.
right. Exactly. No, that's true. But I think at that point was when they were just like, I mean, the engine blew up, like everything was just derailing, and they were just like, we just got to end this somehow. It started off good, and then it went it just progressively continued to get worse. The movie,
Yeah.
in a way,
Yeah, I agree.
and that's true of the fighting also, in my opinion. Like
Yeah,
it's
there was yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna
Not
say to end it, like they started with the like sword fighting and like the weapon fighting, and then it ended with Gohan screaming and Garlic Jr. being obliterated, well pushed into oblivion.
yeah. I mean, you look at the fighting. What I will say about the fighting that I enjoyed, yeah, because I definitely agree. It definitely starts off strong and then it gets like progressively just weaker and weaker, and then it gets to a point where they're just shouting at each other, right?
Right.
And like the opening scene was a cool scene in my opinion, even though it was confusing to me. It was a cool scene. I thought they fought Piccolo in an interesting way. But what I liked about the film in regards to their fighting, because I think
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the only saving graces for me, or one of the only points that I can give it, is the fact that the fighting in this film is not so much around a transformation on Goku's part. Neither is it really around like finishing it with a Kamehameha.
Mm-hmm.
It's not surrounded so much about like energy blast, but they really stayed close to like hand to hand combat.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a lot of like hand to hand. It almost reminded me of like a Jackie Chan film or like a Jet Li film, where it's just like really just like I mean, it was pretty amazing to see in animation that I'm like, wow, I can't like to be able to do that at such a fast pace and to make it clear, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
like a hand to hand combat, which I thought was really a nice touch, because I feel like we just saw Broly, and in Broly, I mean that's
Wild,
just a
yeah.
blast. That's like a blast galore, right? Like
Right.
they're just blasting each other all 40 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so it was a nice change of pace, in my humble opinion, to just break it up with just some actual just hand to hand combat, and fighting in a different manner.
I
And there was
agree.
a scene
Mm-hmm.
where Goku, I think it was like towards the end of that sequence where his pole extends.
Yeah.
He like does like a flip or something like that, and then he uses Kamehameha
Right.
like
He
on the
does.
dude. I really enjoyed that sequence. The
I
sequence was
did.
really nice.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Like, having watched Bro, it's a good, you know, it's good to juxtapose the two because we get to see how, like, ridiculous it's gotten. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Uh, and there's something charming about that type of animation, that type of fighting, right? Where
Hmm.
it's not so everything isn't so extravagant, and it's not like my blast is bigger than yours type of thing. Uh,
Hmm.
and there is that hand-to-hand combat. There's a little bit of strategy in Goku using his power pole, uh, and yeah, the way they incorporated the Kamehameha was really cool. It was after he used a power pole and he launched the dude. Um, and the dude obviously launches a blast, so Goku decides to launch his own. Um, so yeah, I thought that was, yeah, it was cool, like for sure. I thought the fighting wasn't the worst part of this movie. You know, and I like that it's not always like gigantic spirit bombs or death balls or whatever. Um, so definitely the fighting wasn't the worst part of this. It was just the overarching story and Garlic. I think he just that's got to be one of the worst antagonists I've seen, in a movie.
Yeah, yeah, he's up there. He's definitely up there
And
with some of the worst, one of the worst antagonists that we've seen so far in our journey of these films.
and you know what? Like he comes back for another film. Um and he comes back and he fights. I remember this cuz I remember watching it when I was a kid and I was like, "Wait, where the hell is Goku?" He comes back and the second time he comes back, he fights Gohan like well, he fights Gohan again. Um and Gohan destroys him or whatever, but they fight at Kami's house and I was just like watching the first one, I was like, "Damn, did this fool really hit like that they decided we had to bring him back?" Uh and I guess he did. I guess folks loved it, man. Or love maybe
Yeah,
liked
I mean
him, but
it's unfortunate.
yeah,
Yeah,
go
because he's
ahead.
not that interesting. Yeah, he's
He
just not
really
that
not,
interesting.
dude. I
He's not that
mean,
interesting. I think that that story of like avenging dad would have been a much more easier like entryway into the series, because I think that I know what they're trying to do, which is trying to connect them to Kami, like you said, but there
mhm.
needs to be a stronger connection there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like his
Because
drive, I think, should be to kill Kami because Kami like danced with his dad and messed him up, right? Like took care
mm-hmm.
of him, and so yeah, I think that should be his drive. Um,
Yeah,
and then Kami is connected to Piccolo. So every time Kami gets hurt, Piccolo feels it, and then Goku tries to protect Kami. So in reality, not in reality, but he's also protecting Piccolo by doing that. Like that I felt could have been a much stronger reason for Piccolo to have to help. Because like if Kami dies, well then Piccolo dies, and vice versa.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, dude, I think it was just first movie, at least of the Dragon Ball Z series, and the creative juices just weren't flowing that much. And it's 30 years old, or not 30, 32 years old now. So
and it really also begs the question. At least watching this film, it just really just show like it just shined a light on something for me,
mm.
or just a question that I have, and maybe you have the answer, maybe you don't, but the question that came about after watching this film, one of the many questions that I got was, has Krillin ever been relevant
Oh
in Dragon Ball Z?
shoot,
Like, has he
dude,
ever been relevant in Dragon Ball Z?
I think the answer is no. Like,
I, this is the first film, and the man has a ridiculous entrance.
yeah,
He has a ridiculous entrance. He comes
mhm,
in like he's about to like just annihilate the three goons.
correct.
For him to not even fight,
For him to get destroyed by like
for him to get
rubble,
destroyed by a rubble.
dude. Like, and like the one job he had, which was to get Gohan out of there, he fails.
He
Like,
fails.
yeah, this man's a walking L, dude. I mean, he's been, I guess ever since Dragon Ball, he's just been relegated to, they just never decided to give him some love. At least, like, I feel like Krillin should get love, dude. I feel, if you don't want to give Yamcha any, I understand, but don't put Yamcha and Krillin in the same bag, dude. Those,
Mm-hmm.
those are two different. Krillin is, he's the boy, all right. He sucks in a way, but he's our boy. That's kind of what it feels like. Where Yamcha really feels like a nuisance. He really feels like if he's there, you have a higher chance of dying. Um, so I just wish they did like I didn't even see him do a destructo disc, dude. I've seen him do one destructo disc in the entire like all the movies that we've
Under the
watched,
span that we've done. Yeah, we've only seen him bust that thing out once.
and it was against Cooler, right? Like when he no, it was in the Broly movie, the first one.
Hmm.
And that thing's never hit anyone, bro. That thing has always missed. Like I feel bad for him because he's a cool character. Like, and I felt like, okay, you don't have Vegeta, you don't have Trunks, Gohan's still a kid. You know, Goku's not this outrageous animal, and so this is a good opportunity for him to get some love. But nah, he's just one step above Yajirobe, uh, in terms of
In terms of
contributions.
appearances, yeah, he actually gets like a blast in or something like that. Like
Yeah,
Yajirobe doesn't get anything. He just like comes in with the sensu beans. But
exactly.
it's just sad, man. It's sad to see where that man's at, and it just seems to me like they just from the jump were like, okay, you were cool in Dragon Ball, but in Dragon Ball Z, you're not really gonna have a spot. And it's just really crazy, you know what I'm saying? Because we're seeing this when Super is here, and it's crazy to think that he went to the Tournament of Power. I still trip about
Right.
that some of these characters go to the Tournament of Power.
No, you know what's real though is like when he dances with Goku in his god form, and I'm like, all right, dude, this is where I'm gonna have to draw the line. I've drawn many lines, but this is where I gotta draw the fattest line, because Krillin, for as long as we've seen him, he's he's delivered more L's than he has W's. You could argue he's
Yeah.
only delivered L's. So
Mm-hmm.
for him to be able to go toe to toe with Goku in that in the Super Saiyan Blue form, I was just like, see, you're not gonna do this to me right now. You're not gonna tell me that Krillin can hang with him, but then gets decimated by Garlic Jr.'s building's rubble. You know, like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and I feel like I don't know. I just like that he's a human, and he's not a Saiyan. He's not a Namekian. He's not an alien, right? He's a human. So damn, give the man a little bit of love,
You know what I'm
even if
saying? He's the strongest human we got.
that's it, dude. Because and I
That's our
wish
guy. That's gonna be our hero if we
that's
were
the
ever
dude
to
we have
go
to
down.
rely on. Because if the other dudes go
Yeah.
back to Planet Vegeta, if it ever comes back, this is all we have. I think Earth needs to consider its 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 defense team, because we're quite vulnerable if the Saiyans decide to leave.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, dude, I honestly I forgot about Krillin. I forgot he was in the movie. How'd you feel about
Well, don't
Kami?
worry, man. He was only in there for like the
Yeah,
4 minutes
literally.
or some shit like that.
Yeah, for sure. And he gets taken out himself, like not by
He gets
another.
taken out not even by an opponent, but by a
Right.
building.
How'd you feel about Kami?
Kami, it was nice to see him. I really liked his entrance though. There were some points in the film where the animation looked really cool. They explored some different types of like techniques. I feel like,
Yep.
especially like I really liked when Shenron came out. I thought that was like a really grandiose and like really grand way of bringing out the dragon. You know, they dedicated like a good minute or so like to just like hype up the clouds and like the thunder, and
Hmm.
it was a big deal, you know what I'm saying?
For
So
sure.
it's cool to see Dragon Ball when that is not seen like as a commodity, because I feel like now Dragon Ball sees Shenron as a commodity, you know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like, yeah, that's our boy, you know what I'm saying? Like we could just summon him anytime, and
Right.
he'll even save Goku here and there for whatever reason. But
Right.
in this one, they really, you could tell there was importance. So it hadn't gotten to a point where it became kind of like a given. It was kind of like a thing you kind of earn, you know what I'm saying? So to be in the presence of Shenron, and that's kind of what it felt like. So I kind of liked that feeling. So when I think of Kami is also in the same boat. I think that there could have been a really interesting dynamic there between Kami and Garlic Jr., because when I saw them fighting or when they were beefing for that little short amount of time,
Mhm.
I think they could have stayed in that a little bit longer, but they didn't. Um, it could have been a nice storyline of like an elder versus a youth. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
versus a young person that like thinks they know more than the elder, and the elder trying
Right.
to trying to tell him like, dude, you don't have to be this way type of deal. You know what I'm saying? Like I handled your dad. Like
Mm,
it's time to just mourn and it's time to move on. You know what I'm saying? Like
mm.
you don't got to keep doing this, but it didn't go that way.
It
Because
didn't,
I
and
feel like Kami to me that's kind of his role because he doesn't really seem to me like he's like gonna be like the greatest fighter in the world, but he's kind of like that elder. You know what I'm saying? Like
right, the
he's the
OG,
one
right? He's
in one
the
of the last episodes we were talking about Piccolo. That Piccolo doesn't have an elder to tell him like, dude, you're not in this game anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like it's time to hang it up. That's Kami. I realized that that's him. That
yeah.
Kami should be the one to sit down Piccolo and tell him, son,
You
it's
know,
time.
it's time, bro. You gotta accept your role. You gotta
Yeah,
accept
dude, you
your
gotta
role.
accept. Everybody has a role. Everybody has a place in the team, and it's okay. You
Yeah.
know.
It's
So.
funny you say that, like, about Kami, because yeah, I like that they introduce him for sure. I like that they used him in this movie, um, but it felt a little forced, because at moments I felt like they tried to make him the reason Garlic Jr., like the centerpiece to the movie,
Hmm.
kind of the
Hmm.
reason why Garlic Jr. came back. Like I said, the centerpiece to the movie, but then he fades away and Gohan's like the star of the show. And I
Hmm.
think they could have done something cool here in the sense that they could have had Kami and Gohan take out Garlic Jr., and it would have been a little foreshadowing into what Piccolo and Gohan would become, uh,
Oh, that would have been nice.
as far
Hmm.
as a tandem. And like you said, I love that elder versus youth dynamic, and you know, Garlic Jr. Well, Garlic Jr. is disparaging to everyone, but of course he was like that towards Kami. But I didn't feel like he hated Kami. I felt like he just wanted to destroy everything. I felt like I felt like they should have added a layer to the movie where he hates Kami, and every time he sees Kami, he wants to destroy him. Kind of like they did with uh Broly in the first movie,
Hmm.
and Goku. I'm not even gonna mention the second one. Uh and I felt like they could have played it there, but it was all so flat. It was also they played it so safe, they didn't like go outside of their comfort zone. And maybe it was because it was the first Dragon Ball Z movie, but that was yeah, that's how I felt about Kami. Like he was cool, but I do wish they would have used him in a different way.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, you got anything else to say, dude? Or you got any reviews or
Yeah, let's
um
go. Let's hop into the reviews. So I got some reviews. This movie, I think nostalgia. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what this is. When I
for
see these
sure?
reviews, I just see a lot of nostalgia, a lot of denial of what we just saw. So, um, okay. So this is by Taylor. Oh, but
All
you know
right.
what? This is actually 6 months ago. So maybe I'm wrong. This is not even that long ago.
Oh
Taylor says this is a 5 star out of 5 stars. Says
wow.
amazing first Dragon Ball Z movie, very fun, action packed. Garlic Jr. was a very strong demon villain, and the team up with main characters and his rival was fun. Unique anime adventure.
Well,
Uh, Sebasti Boy says 5 stars. If you're a fan of Dragon Ball, you most likely enjoy this film. And then let me give you one more that really loved it.
okay.
DBZ, the Dead Zone film. It's one of the
Yeah.
very rare things I ever like and still like about DBZ. It's original. It has an original story. The action is overall intense and fun to watch. The voice acting, the original voices are so good. And the music, once again, the original soundtrack is excellent to listen to.
Okay.
So
So,
I think the character. Hold on. My boy
oh
wrote my
geez.
boy wrote an essay. Hold on, man. Hold up. My boy Tequila 101 wrote an essay. I
Okay.
think the characters are very original and they are developed quickly. The story doesn't waste time into presenting them what it wants to present and show the action mentioned above is freaking awesome. I would love to see Garlic Jr. more great character. The visual effects
Wow.
for 1989 animation was good. If you love combat films, it's definitely one for the books. I own the original version and I got the Italian version.
Okay. I mean, Listen, there's something there. There are a few things he said there that I could agree with, like the animation. I thought, hey, listen, this movie was filmed in, or not filmed, but it was created in 1989, and they had to work with what they had. I think there's a charm to it, and the music too. Like, not that I like the music here, but certainly some of the original Dragon Ball Z soundtracks, they're pretty
Uh-huh.
fire, especially in like the actual Dragon Ball Z series. But
Hmm.
yeah, I also looked for some reviews and I didn't see many like critical ones either. I feel like there is a
I
lot of.
found some,
Oh, did you?
but yeah, you let me know if
Why
you
don't you
got
go ahead
one
and
or
say it? I want to hear what people had to say that didn't really feel the movie.
Tavion says this movie was boring. Why did Garlic Jr. open up the only way he can be defeated when he's immortal? Number four, this is a 4 out of 10. It's
Okay.
DBZ. All I can really say about this film is it's DBZ. It really doesn't fit into the timeline for the show at all, though it's supposedly placed just before the beginning of the TV series. The action is pretty nice in general. The plot has a nice enough base with background establishing why these guys hate each other. Um, there's really, let's see here. The villains are odd and rather comical, usual DBZ type. This seems more like a made as a Dragon Ball movie rather than a Dragon Ball Z movie.
Hmm. Yeah, I actually could agree with that last part. It feels like more the end of Dragon Ball as opposed to the beginning of Dragon Ball Z. But
Mm-hmm.
I, you know, I think there's a lot of nostalgia there. And like I said, listen, it is the first movie they did for Dragon Ball Z, so I can understand to a degree. But what did you think, dude? Give me your rating.
My rating for this film, man, this is I saw. Look, I want to respect it. First
Right,
one in the
right.
in the series.
I
I
feel
want
the
to show
same.
respect to it.
Hmm.
It's what's
It's a
catapulted.
pioneer for sure.
Yeah, it's a pioneer, and there's some cool moments in here. Like I said, I like the fighting and I like some of the animations. So but then for me, to be honest with you, if it's for story wise and all the other things that I look for, it's right next to Fusion 13 and the Return of Cooler. So
Damn,
like
that's an
so
L.
so it's down there for me, but because I'm gonna respect it, I'm not gonna give it a one. I'm gonna give it a two.
Oh, dude. So I think we've been on the same vibe the whole show, the whole episode, because
Yeah.
um I agree. Like we take this movie in a vacuum. This is a walking L. This is a one every day of the week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, you know what I'm saying? But when we put things into context, like you said, this was the catalyst. This is the one that started it all. And without this one, we probably don't have a lot of we don't have what we have now. Um, at least it was a big part of continuing the Dragon Ball momentum and bringing it uh increasing its scale. And yeah, as a pioneer. And again, it was done in 1989, so it's not like we are watching it 31 years removed from the date it was released, or 32 now. But
Hmm.
yeah, dude, and I can't give this a one for that same exact reason. Like, this is their first crack at it with Dragon Ball Z, a Dragon Ball Z movie, and it started it all. So I'm gonna have to go two as well. A two-star Dragon Ball out of 7-star Dragon Balls out of 7 Dragon Balls. Um, I feel like I think I would say watch it to just so that you have a little bit of that. You're a little bit more of a Dragon Ball historian.
Yeah.
Um, but definitely this ain't gonna be the movie. Like, they could never recreate this. You know how Broly, they were like, all right, we're gonna recreate it and we're gonna release it in theaters. This thing
Yeah.
cannot ever get released in
No.
like, and the fact
No.
that they made a sequel to this, which got released like years later, it makes me question, the direction. But yeah, a two out of 7 for me for sure.
Yeah, definitely recommend it for folks that want to see Krillin make a 4 minute cameo. I like to see a Piccolo
Maybe the only time
do
we
a whole
see
lot of
Kami.
nothing. Yeah, if you want to see Kami, if you want to see a lot of grunting and yelling as a finisher, then
Right.
this is the movie for you.
And real talk, also if you want to see the pioneer, so it's definitely a two-sided coin. If you want to see the catalyst to the series, or a catalyst to the series, here you go. And if you also want to set the floor to like expectations, because this will give you context as to like, all right,
Where we're at.
we can only go up
Yeah,
from here, right?
yeah.
So um yeah, realistically, like Fusion, what Super Android 13, I could not recommend that movie to you. This movie, I'd recommend it, but not because of its quality, but because of its other kind of intrinsic, like romantic pieces, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, it's like the
Um,
nostalgia piece, you know. I
yeah,
think the
exactly, for
vintage, I think
sure.
was a good word. There's a lot of nostalgia here, you know. So it's cool to just relive or just, you know,
Mm,
embark if you're a young Dragon Ball fan and you're listening to us, like, you know, to go see where it started, where your favorite anime kind of got its
yeah,
roots, you know what I'm saying? And to
yeah.
see just how trash Piccolo's gotten, and
Yeah.
you see
And
the downfall from there.
yeah, exactly. And see how bad Krillin always was. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for taking time to listen to us today. We enjoy your listenership. And if you've watched this movie, let us know what you think. Are we way off? Are we being too harsh on a movie that really kind of started it all, at least as far as movies for Dragon Ball are concerned? Let us know. We'd like to hear your opinion. Um, yeah, you'll find all our social media down in the description below. If you're watching this on YouTube, listen to us on every platform for podcasts, and make sure you tune in for next week. Chewin, any last words?
Yeah, shout out to the person that gave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Appreciate it. And other folks, please leave us a review. It just helps us out, you know, to just get more exposure. Also, you know, if you have a friend that might be interested, you know, share it with them.
Share it with,
Appreciate
yeah,
it.
for sure.
We would appreciate it, you know, trying to grow, but we want to thank the support that we've gotten so far.
Definitely. All right, yo. We'll log off, but until next week, stay safe.